Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Mythlok with your host Ninki Nanka. We have been exploring Native American mythology in some of our most recent episodes, so we've decided to switch things up a little bit and start exploring the mind-blowing collection of mythology and stories that we have coming in from the continent of Africa. As you know, we've discussed this earlier as well. Africa is an enormous continent with a lot of different cultural references and a lot of different mythologies that are split across the various countries and the various regions within Africa. But we've decided to club it all together so that we bring concentrated look into the mythology of the region. African mythology has its uniqueness where when you compare it to the different mythologies from around the world, you see some characters, you see some creatures that are extremely distinct to the region and in many cases have evolved over times to become part of popular culture and common mythology due to the unfortunate past where we've had many countries, including European nations as well as American nations, exploiting the continent for manpower, slavery, cheap labor, and resources. We would not get into all those unfortunate incidents but focus more on what the whole continent can provide us in terms of a treasure trove of mythology, folklore, traditions, and legends. Now, one such character from the region, from West Africa, that has a lot of similarity with European mythology is that of the Ninki Nanka. Now, the Ninki Nanka, to be honest, reminded me a lot of Nessie or the Loch Ness monster from Scotland, but it has its own characteristics and is in no way similar or a copy of the legend of Nessie. A Ninki Nanka is a mythical creature in West African folklore and is described as a reptilian animal with a dragon-like appearance. Intrinsic to the cultural and mythological beliefs of the people of Gambia, for some it's a massive serpent with reflective scales, a head crest, and for some it's a winged dragon. The Ninki Nanka is described as a black and green snake-like creature with a feathery crest, measures about 50 meters long. It has both been described as having legs like a lizard and also being limbless like a snake. There have been contrasting representations or descriptions of the Ninki Nanka based on which part of Gambia or Western Africa you go to, because this is a common feature that has its presence being felt in many of the cultural references from different parts of the region. Some describe it as having the neck of a giraffe or a crocodile as opposed to that of a snake. The body is also said to either resemble that of a hippo and in some cases a dragon. In its python form, it also slithers underground to keep everything filled up from below. Its tracks eventually meeting with its celestial root in one large and nourishing circle. Seeing the Ninki Nanka almost is a guarantee of death or serious illness followed by death. Some accounts also claim that death is assured if you lock eyes with the creature. Death can also occur almost immediately to a few weeks apart. The only thing that can kill the Ninki Nanka is its own reflection, and that is why the travelers along the river Gambia always carry a mirror on their person. Its own reflection being its Achilles heel is something that we have seen that is common with Medusa in Greek mythology, who also turns into stone when she views her own reflection and is the only way to kill her. The Ninki Nanka is unique in the way that it does not actually confine itself to a specific shape, and it is fluid enough so that different cultures along the region can also have their own interpretations based on what they have seen. The fact that there is no consistent description of the creature also shows that there has been a lot of eyewitness accounts bringing into picture their own versions of what they saw and what they interpreted. In the year 2006, a team of dragon hunters from the CFZ went to Gambia to look for the Ninki Nanka. This is similar to many of the expeditions that were carried across in the Loch Ness looking for the Loch Ness monster. They were met with varying testimonies from individuals who claimed to have either seen the creature or had an encounter with it. Eyewitness claims that it resembled a Chinese dragon and lived in the waters of the river Gambia. The expedition, known as the J.T. Downs Memorial Gambia Expedition of 2006, received a fair amount of media attention, including coverage in a BBC Online article. Nowadays, tours are organized along the river Gambia known as the Ninki Nanka trails, which is similar to a spotting expedition for enthusiasts. Even today, the Ninki Nanka remains an elusive creature, but it still lives on in the legends famously passed down from generation to generation by the elders. Africa boasts of a varied collection of amazing creatures like the Ninki Nanka, and we would be exploring a lot of them in the days to come. Thank you very much for tuning in to another episode of Mythlok. This is your host Ninki Nanka signing off, reminding you once again that Mythlok is the home of mythology.